The Mandalorian Chapter 4, Sanctuary. This one shifts gears a little bit after last week's climax of what I consider to be its own arc. This episode instantly starts off with farmers in a small village. It starts off peaceful until they're raided by Klatooinian pirates. If you thought these guys were familiar, that's because they are. They're in Return of the Jedi in Jabba's palace on the sail barge, I believe. And after this all goes down, we're reunited with the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda approaching the same planet that those villagers were on. Baby Yoda's flipping switches and pressing buttons he shouldn't press, even after Mando tells him to stop. It's like a typical kid. He continues. Mando ends up putting him on his lap and calling him a little womp rat. It's kind of his way of saying, hey, you little shithead. You're being annoying, but you're also being cute. So Mando and Baby Yoda make their way to a local establishment where we meet Cara Dune. There's an awesome little Easter egg with a loth cat. It's weird seeing something that I'm so acclimated to in animation translated over to live action. I really hope that we see more animated characters and creatures and you name it peppered into the show. It's a lot of fun. And once Mando sits down at the table, he and Cara instantly take note of each other right away. Mando inquires about her to the waitress, but doesn't get any information. She walks away and Cara Dune is gone. Mando instantly gets up, flips another coin to the lady at the bar and tells her to watch Baby Yoda in a classic A New Hope Han Solo fashion. Except for sorry about the mess, it's watch the kid. And in the scene that follows, this is where we see what kind of a badass Cara Dune really is. They end up getting into this epic fistfight, and I mean epic. I don't really think they could have casted a better person to play this character. I mean, Gina Carano is a mixed martial arts alumni, and it definitely shows without a doubt here. She not only looks the part, but she can physically do a lot of these stunts, and it just adds a layer of authenticity for me. It's much like Donnie Yen as Chirrut. She used to be a legit MMA fighter, and more than likely could kick both my ass and your ass at the same time, in real life. So the fight between Mando and Cara ends up cooling off after they notice Baby Yoda watching them while he's sipping on his soup. And the comedic timing of this is so perfect. It's a nice little break of tension after the fight, and it gets them two talking. And it's through her conversation with the Mandalorian that we learn that Cara's an ex-shock trooper who saw most of her action after the Battle of Endor, but left after cleaning out a bunch of ex-Imperial warlords, and once the political climate started to heat up for the New Republic, she just wasn't down with that, so she left. She knew that Mando was a member of the guild, and she assumed he was there to collect a price on her head, and that's why she attacked him. But Mando decides to leave this planet because he knows they're both wanted, and he doesn't want to risk two people hiding out so close to each other. That is, however, until these farmers approach the Mandalorian before he leaves. They bribe him with credits to protect them and fend off the Klatooinians that attacked them in the beginning of the episode. Mando initially tells them no, until he realizes that they're in this highly isolated area and they have lodging. So Mando's interested. He offers the rest of his credits and additional lodging to Cara to back him up on this, since they're both in the same situation, which of course she agrees. So when they arrive, Mando meets this lady, and her name I either cannot remember or she just wasn't mentioned. But she takes an interest in our Mandalorian pretty damn fast. I mean, she's totally into him. It must be Baby Yoda and his caring for Baby Yoda. That's my theory on it. Because, I mean, come on. Baby Yoda's a total chick magnet right now. So this lady ends up asking Mando about his helmet, when the last time it was that he took it off. And he very dryly just says, yesterday. Which cracked me up, man. All this mysticism about the Mandalorian and his helmet, and his answer is just so perfect. But what we do learn is that the Mandalorian cannot take this helmet off in front of other people. He hasn't shown his face since he was a child, not since his parents died and the Mandalorians took him in, which tells me a little bit more about why his tribe backed him up on helping, with Baby Yoda in the previous episode. The Mandalorians took him in, and he's returning that favor to Baby Yoda. The Mandalorians are honorable. For that, you don't take off the helmet, I suppose. This is the way. So later, Mando and Cara scout the forest and learn more about the Raiders, and in my opinion, this is where it gets to really feeling like it's a Bryce Dallas Howard directed episode. I'm not sure if it's deliberate or not, but there's some moments in this episode that really have a Jurassic World feel to them. Mando and Cara find an AT-ST footprint in the forest, and I instantly thought about Jurassic Park with the T-Rex footprints. It's honestly a cool way to integrate the old leftover Imperial technology salvaged by the pirates pirates and the warlords. The ATST is used in a way that makes it scary too. It's intimidating as hell in this episode. So much so that Mando and Cara go back to the farmers and tell them, hey, the deal's off. No way we can take care of 20 plus pirates plus this Imperial Walker. And the farmers argue that they can help fight. They insist on it. I mean, it reminded me a lot of the episode of the Clone Wars where Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka crash land on Felucia, and they're forced into a position to train those farmers how to fight off Hondo and Naka's pirates. But the difference here being that those farmers didn't want shit to do with that fight, and our new farmers here do. So they come up with a plan to try and trick the Walker and the Drowning into this trench around the village. They start training the farmers, and to my surprise, Mando's new lady friend, she's pretty badass with a blaster. She's the only one who knows how to shoot. It's a subtle layer, but it has to be intentional. I do think we are going to see a lot more of her later on down the road in this show. Mandalorian hands her a Relby V10, which is the same blaster that's used by Bosk. That put a big grin on my face to see. I could spot one of those things from a mile away. I used that blaster so many times in Battlefront 2015. It's not even funny. And I'm not entirely sure, but it also looks like this guy here. He's using the same TL-50 blaster used by Iden Versio in the Battlefront 2 story mode. Maybe not, but it sure looked like it to me. But like I was saying, Mando's lady friend blasts the absolute piss out of this pan during target practice. She has some sort of training that makes her relate with Mando, I have no doubt of it. And I reiterate this because I think those two are going to get together later on. Or at the very least, she's going to play a very significant role in the Mandalorian story somehow. So Mando and Cara sneak into the Klatooinian camp, and we see two of them drinking a glass of glowing liquid. It instantly reminded me of that nightclub in Attack of the Clones. That's the only other time I remember seeing any kind of glowing drink in a live-action Star Wars anything. So I thought that was a neat callback. Needless to say, Mando and Cara knock the snot out of them, and after they get the pirates' attention, they break back for the village with the Walker in pursuit. And let me tell you, that Walker was a sight to behold. The glowing eyes, the custom paint job, just the way it looked and the way it's shot and presented is just menacing as hell. I have never seen an ATST like this before. And once again, I can't help but feel like Bryce had some Jurassic World influence in her work here. The way the Walker comes toward the village out of the trees like that, it reminded me a lot of that scene in Jurassic Park with Malcolm when he urges Sattler and Muldoon to get back to the Jeep as the T-Rex is coming out of the trees. Anyhow, just like the Jedi and the farmers on Felucia from years past, they end up taking down the pirates, winning back their freedom, and things are peaceful again, and Baby Yoda frog munches because, well, Baby Yoda. And the episode needed a way to segue back to the little guy to finish out this episode because Mando decides to leave Baby Yoda at the village so that he has a chance of a normal life. The question then becomes the same for Mando himself. The lady who's been friendly with him, she asks him to stay. We get a little hint that the Mandalorian would like this actually, but it's not the life for him because of his life as a Mandalorian. He feels he doesn't belong there. We learn that if the Mando were to take off that helmet in front of anyone, he could never ever wear it again, which honestly makes me think that, it's probably going to take by the end of the show, but he'll complete his hero's journey and he'll live peacefully with this new lady friend. Or we have future seasons of this Mandalorian where he's not wearing the helmet, which is, going to be a completely different version of him, and I don't know how I'll feel about that. How would you guys feel? Helmet on or off with this guy? But the episode closes with a bounty hunter. He attempts to assassinate Baby Yoda, and I mean, it's high tension. You see his sights dead on Baby Yoda's head, and then the camera goes to Mando's reaction to the sudden blaster fire, and we have no idea if Baby Yoda's alive. You're kind of wondering like, wait, did they just do that? Then the bounty hunter falls to the ground, revealing that Cara Dune snuck up behind him and blasted him first. In pure badass fashion, man. I just loved it. I guess a lot of people don't like Cara, but I'm sold on her. I like her. I can't help it, man. So Mando and Baby Yoda head back to the Razor Crest, and there you have it. The episode's over. That's it. And although I can't say that I liked this particular episode as much as I enjoyed the last one, it's certainly right up there with the very first episode that Filoni did, at least. But I don't know. It's hard to rank these, man. I love all of these episodes. Either way, It was solid. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And I can't wait to see where Mando and Baby Yoda end up next, man. We'll have to find out here in a couple of days, but until our paths cross,